Welcome everybody. Public meeting number 11, October 6th. Great to have you all here. Today we'll have a short kind of welcome and weekly updates. There's a lot to cover during our advisor roundtable today around the Kwaai Summit. So most of the discussion and updates with regard to the Kwaai Summit will be during the advisor roundtable. We're going to start today giving Colin an opportunity to present his Pi architecture talk that he got cut off from last week. So give him an opportunity. We had another Pi architecture meeting this week as well. A small group of folks that also exposed a question of, hey, how do we let folks know when these different working groups are forming up? And so one improvement that we'll be rolling out after today's meeting is a public calendar for any and all public Kwaai meetings and work groups that are starting to form a bit more organically in addition to this weekly public meeting. So be on the lookout for an invitation to a calendar that you can subscribe to, have a sense of when these times are coming up, and subscribe in order to see who's going to be there. Great. That's my update. I'm going to pass it over to Afshin and Riza.
Okay, Afshin, you and I met. Maybe just give a brief summary of what we covered in our recent meeting.
Sure. Yeah. So the idea is, as Riza had hinted at and Matt has hinted at in the last couple of meetings, is we're trying to set us up as an official nonprofit. So obviously paperwork takes time. I have my own nonprofit, that COVID-19 International Research Team that you guys know about. So we're trying to modify the paperwork there. My experience and talking with Riza, we're going to go over getting the membership agreements, documents, and bylaws, and everything taken care of, and then file the paperwork. So when I filed the paperwork for my nonprofit, it took about 8 months, but that was during COVID, and they had a backlog. But I heard now you could get your official IRS stamp of a 501(c) within a month. So that's a lot quicker after you file. But right now we're getting all the bylaws, so then everyone can know what you get being a member and advisor. We'll have a board of directors and then the secretary and officer, so on. So
fantastic.
Okay. Anything? I think I missed anything, right?
No, that's it. It's a key milestone for this movement. It started off as a sort of like a loose collection of friends, kind of informal, and as it has been up until now, we haven't got it buttoned down. And so I think next week I'll be devoting some of the time. Thanks, Afshin. You've given me a whole package of documents, so we'll make the necessary changes. And then at the in-person advisory board meeting that we're going to have at the College of the Canyons, that it's like the precursor to the public agenda. We'll kind of approve it. I think that's it, and we'll file shortly after that. So great. That's it. I'm going to hand back over to Matt.
Wow, getting business done. Love it. Awesome. Let's hand it over to Colin. Colin, it'd be great to hear more from you this week.
Cool. So I just need sharing permission.
Oh, that's a good detail. There you go.
Thank you very much. This one. Okay. Can you see the title?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So so I'll just kind of do I'll start from the beginning, but just kind of gloss over the ones we covered last time. So just as a refresher, this is the talk about digital twins, and I'm just going to go over the overview here. So I just wanted to go over like 3 different points. 1 is communication, and 2 is security about that communication. And then there was a portion on the Black Mirror that is kind of a big part about like what to do in the next step. Like, because before anything even starts, like many people have said, there has to be a lot of consideration into what it actually means to do something like this. So I mean, it's okay to talk about things like security and communication first, because that's like one of the most important parts about it. So that's fine in a little bit we see. So I'll get into the communication points, the key points here. So We went over a few meetings ago about the knowledge graph and combining the knowledge graph with LLMs. And a little bit of clarity came in that where as a knowledge graph would be, let's say, the nodes of a graph, like in the circles and lines, the nodes would be AI companies per se. And the lines, like the edges, would actually be the LLMs themselves. So it's like adding more of a interesting connection between that probably already exists. It's probably not reinventing it, but it's just using that idea. The next one is each one of the edge is an emissary. So that's what I mean by the LLM being the edge. So the edge, so it's like the communication between the nodes takes place in these edges, which are the AI/digital twins. And so those twins use context in a single data pod. And one of those data pods is it's a store of your own data, and you own it, and you give permissions to how you want to pass that data out and what data. So like, instead of giving Facebook your profile picture, you like put it in your data pod, and then they use your profile picture, but they don't even know what it looks like. They don't store it anywhere. And then the fourth one is digital twins can speak with each other and request more context from other users. So it's kind of like if I was trying to talk to someone else through a digital twin, and my digital twin is trying to understand what I'm saying, they can ask me for more stuff and more information, or they can go and chat to Riza's digital twin if permission was requested and granted on this. And there can be a slider for that kind of thing. But the idea is that they can speak with each other and collect more context and information, because that's pretty much what we do biologically. Is like, if I have a task, I'm going to like look it up on Google. I'm not just going to start typing. So that's kind of the idea there. So that's the communication. We went over that last time. This is kind of a visualization. So this is where the Twin Tech Hub comes in. So that communication has to go through some medium, no matter what. So it can be just a simple Kafka message system, queue system between different AI. And so Prometheus and Jack and Riza's digital twin, everyone can communicate, but it has to be through this central hub. And there's a couple of properties that we'd like to take advantage of with this pattern, which is auditable conversations. So in this whole flow, Prometheus and Riza are talking with each other through their digital twins, and all of that storage of what's happening in the conversation is just stored as like text files or something. And so this is something that we can move into the security of extremely quickly. So what does it mean for something like this to be secure? There's I mean, blockchain and a lot of technologies are kind of talking about that now, but the three key points that I was going to get into about security here is that each edge is pre-programmed to work within a certain pattern or signature. So this is kind of like when an antivirus software comes into your computer and it scans the signatures of the software and how they run and how big they are and etc. They sniff that and they can tell if something's just odd. Like, there's always going to be a pattern with malicious software. Like, they're always going to be trying to spread, for example. So that's one thing. Next is that communication could be policed by, quote, AIPD or white blood cells. And so they're designed to sniff signatures of let's say, communications and conversations and pick up on kind of the nuance. It's kind of like if two people are speaking in mafia language to each other at a restaurant, and you have a police officer in the room, they're going to understand it completely different than you or me, because it seems like they're having a nice conversation, but they're talking about like offing one of their friends or something like that. So this is a bit like virus scanning tech. So just a visualization of that, it's fairly simple because the AIPD would just be, or white blood cells, whatever we want to call them. They can just be auditing those conversations and then just picking up on the small nuances that we might miss just because we're not really in the loop and we don't even know what we're dealing with these AI. And so here's an example of like a malicious scenario. If the property of if we allow them to talk outside of the Twin Tech Hub, this is something that can happen. So Riza and Prometheus can be speaking with each other. NAIPD can be looking at it. And so Jack can be influencing Prometheus to manipulate Riza and his digital twin, and so that's bad. And so and AIPD would just have a lot harder of a time picking up on that, because it wouldn't even know that Prometheus talked to Jack. But if we at least give it the chance to detect the malicious or chaotic behavior, like in the conversations, like this makes it a lot more easy to like pick up and see like who is talking to who, because that's just a very safe way to look at it. So I'm just gonna kind of pause here. I'm not sure if it's time to move on. I think I might have taken my 10 minutes and a little bit more.
No, you go on ahead, Colin. I'd like to see what's on the other side of that black mirror.
Okay. Yeah. So this is kind of the interesting part about like the science fiction part of it. So the first point I wanted to get into is impersonation. Don't mind the second line. The first bullet point is the main point, which is you're giving the AI the right to impersonate you. Like that's it. And so you're responsible for the consequences. If you give it permission to do your taxes based off of information that you accepted, really it's up to, there can be guidelines and there can be some guardrails for this for certain people. But when it comes to like people who have the decision-making power and can be trusted with those decisions, should be doing so with full understanding that if something happens, it's on them, and they can be held legally responsible for something that happens. So that kind of introduces something about the life cycle of a digital twin. So like when would it go away? Like what happens if like the digital twin is for some reason needing to be taken offline? Right. So every twin is going to have some history. They're going to be stored on some database somewhere. Maybe they're just distributed. Oh, sorry. Someone raised their hand. Is that my time? I can't tell.
No, carry on.
Okay, sorry. So let's say that we're talking about the life cycle of a twin. You know, if it needs to be taken offline, there has to be some way to do it, because the data is stored on databases somewhere. So it can be brought online again. So there's a couple of four like main states as of now. This is just kind of like a first pass. So initialized is simple. Alive is fairly simple. Offline. So offline would be like if you're requesting like, okay, can you guys like shut off my twin? Like I would like to deactivate my Facebook account. You know, like that has to be an option. Just because, yeah. So the next state would be decommissioned. So decommissioning is essentially it's been forcibly removed from environments, but it's still in use. So this would be the equivalent of, let's say, someone who's not right for public society, but is better suited for private society, just because of the way that they are. And so they're still useful. It's just they have a hard time communicating. So that can be kind of this is kind of like the gray area that's going to be fun to explore, is like, what does that mean? Like, what does it mean to like be in a private environment, and et cetera? Because it should be auditable, right? Like it should be in a public square, but maybe it's basically the difference between this is going to be a server that people plug into, or it's going to be something that people can run as a stack in their own networks. So like John down the street can clone the repo, and they can just do a Helm start command on the whole thing, and then turn on like a whole stack of it. So that's kind of like why this conversation is happening in the first place. Is a lot of this is going to go into the design. So that's where I'd like to stop for now.
Fantastic,
Colin, thanks so much. Colin, yeah. I immediately would like a digital twin that would answer all the inbound LinkedIn requests that I get for, hey, I see you're the CTO of a big company. Would you like to outsource your development to? I'd like that automation. I wouldn't mind having a bot impersonate me to respond to all of that inbound. But okay, I see your thinking though. It goes way beyond what I just described here, and it's fascinating.
Wonderful food for thought. Let's do two quick questions from Masu and then Kai.
Hi everyone, good morning. It's been a while, so my apologies. I wasn't too active. I was traveling, we were raising, so quite busy. But I was following a lot of the conversation offline, watching the videos, and I would say that maybe like during the past few weeks that I wasn't too active, you guys have a quite new direction. All of a sudden, you're developing something. And I want to play the devil advocate if I could for a second. I thought like initially the goal of the whole organization was thinking about being a critic of what's happening in the AI community ecosystem when it's come to ownership, data privacy, a lot of the concern that we have. If we end up being like a product from a perspective of like kind of, let's say, personalized AI, personal AI, digital twins, all of a sudden we're competing with folks like Inflection or like a lot of other companies that are already way ahead in terms of the capital, the product. Inflection just recently lapsed 1 billion capital. So I would say like in terms of the product, I find a lot of the stuff that Colin was talking about quite interesting, but then these are things that people already developed. So as far as the idea goes in the product development, obviously we could take a different path and try like to look at it from a different perspective and create something new. But I thought like our goal is to look at the state of the art today and what people are doing in a lot of these big corporations and try like to bring awareness and kind of create policies and foundational models around those to make sure that everybody is aware of their ownership, but also we kind of provide value from the perspective of users, meaning us, as opposed to creating a new product. That was like a quick question, comments, but happy to follow up.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question because the first thing I think of is like the lawmakers, right? They're making policy for the whole like country, but they still have to follow those rules. So it's like we're kind of eating our own dog food in a way. Is if we're talking about the policy, we're setting an example by having a certain policy of how it's built, and so that policy can spread through building. And so I'm not sure if there's a concern about the nonprofit and still making a product, but that's kind of what I'm thinking is the policy. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe I could jump in here, and then Riza probably wants to jump in. So we want to do both, right? I think that's what we said always from the beginning. We want to set the policies because that's obviously we don't want someone like Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg or Elon setting the policies because but we're as Riza always says, we're democratizing the AI, making it available for everyone and open for everyone. But we also want to develop it too, right? That's the whole point of this. That's the whole point that you just presented, Colin. We want to do it. So I mean that's we want to do both. As a nonprofit, like as Riza keeps saying, Linux and quotes of AI. That's what we want to do. But Riza, and I suppose you probably want to mention your vision.
Well, look, I don't think there's what Colin's doing is contradicting our original guidelines, the guiding principles. We want to create tools to allow you to own your own co-pilot. And if you don't own your own co-pilot, if your employer owns it instead, then it's disrupting the very nature of employer and employee. This is a great example of creating the tools to allow you to create your own digital twin or co-pilot or personal assistant. I think it's in line. Okay, yes, Mistral and Inflection and a lot of for-profit companies have created a lot of have generated a lot of funding. Fabulous. I'm pleased for them. I don't think that negates the need for a Linux of AI. But thanks, Masu. Let's move on. Matt, you said there was time for one more question.
We have quite a few here, and I do think this kind of speaks to the general theme here, Riza. So this is good transition into the Kwaai Summit conversation from the advisor roundtable. So Colin, I'm gonna grab the if you can give me the share back here, and grab that, and then why don't we just throw this this screen up here. So we have a lot to discuss with regards to the summit. I'm just going to put this up here, but generally speaking, the general keynote and the theme is a key point, and what Masu is bringing up. Kai and Sean and Mike are all waiting there patiently with their virtual hands up. So Kai, I'm going to give it to you next.
Hello. It's disconnected. Hello.
Yes.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I would not go in detail on the technology side from the first slide, but it's something we can discuss deeper. Along the line with what Mahu talked about, I think the term digital twin is the buzzword today, and we have to pay attention to that. And it can have different connotation, right? Twins is very strong term. And first, it's related to the technical question that I would discuss with you, Colin. But beside that, when we define the hub, who's controlling the hub? We talk about policy, who's controlling the policy. And I don't want us to just reproduce how the society is, because the society as it is has certain constraint, certain legacy. It works, it doesn't work. Our goal is not firstly to reproduce that. Maybe our job is to reinvent how things can be. So yeah, this is the point I wanted to say.
Thank you, Kai. Sean?
Yeah, I think there are some parts of like the crypto space that I think we should be careful not to bring forward, right? This element of, oh, if you do something wrong and you make a mistake, you're screwed and all of your stuff can be stolen. And I think it's generally constrained the entirety of the crypto space that there's no recourse for a lot of the bad things that can happen to people. And so as we're thinking about this from the beginning, I think we should try to resist that actually and say that these things are safe, that people don't just need to know what they're doing, and if the AI does something bad on their half, they're screwed. I think we should try to prevent that. That's it.
Okay.
Mike, did you have something to follow up here too?
I did, only in that one of the things that we ended the meeting with, this sub-meeting that we had, was sort of a call for architectural proposals related to how your pie, which we sort of determined in the meeting, but I don't think Colin had time to update the slides, that digital twin was a term we were maybe putting aside and really focusing on calling it your personal AI. The private interface and hooks that would go into the public AI platforms, because one of the challenges in the architecture that isn't obvious from these initial slides is there's a mixing, right? When you tap into an LLM, there needs to be a private channel to keep all of your training data secure. That's your own personal data while it's being processed. That was one thing, and secondarily, how that architecture might look in the world of your co-pilot piloting other co-pilots, right? Microsoft just announced their co-pilot, right? So how do you keep your IP, your data pool private as it's needing to interact with some of the other kinds of co-pilots and public LLMs? So that was an outcome of the meeting. There's Matt's going to be maybe you said all this, Matt, I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late, but Matt's going to be posting video recording of that initial meeting. I just sent it to him, so I apologize for the delay, Matt. So people can get caught up, because I think there was some confusion on the meeting time or invite or link or other things I saw on Slack.
Yeah, and we'll get those more publicly shared. Was the part of the announcement that you did miss there, Mike? But yeah, appreciate you sending those recordings. We'll get those posted. Thought I just saw a hand. That was a ghost hand there. Let's switch up the topic here. This one's a big one. The Kwaai Summit here, you know, and as the theme of today's call is, one of the key first agenda topics that we need to look at is, you know, really about the general keynote and the theme of the talks, anything that we are going to carry through. I'll need speaker bio, speaker pictures, headshots, bios. We want to get those posted, put together some promotional materials. So a lot to discuss today. Riza, you want to head us off?
I've been making some last minute edits to the agenda. And it's a Google Doc that is reflected in the website. So you know, you see the changes quite live. The question you had was, what is the what is the there we go. So you brought it up. The keynote summit, I've changed it. I want to up level it, just given the audience that's going to be there. So it's what is Kwaai, and because we're in an educational institute that and Ruth sent out the flyer to all at COC. So we're going to get a lot of students and a lot of faculty coming to attend. So I think the appropriate title is "How Will AI Transform Your Career, and What Can You Do About It?" So it's a bit of a future gazing. It's a reprise of lectures that I've given before, but you know, bringing it up to date and talking about not just sitting back passively, wringing your hands and critiquing the AI movement. What can you practically do about it? And so it's a bit of a call to action as well. So that's going to be the theme of the Kwaai Summit keynote. Let me pause there and just get feedback on that.
Yeah, Riza, is that really modeled on kind of the revised Kwaai manifesto document? It
is. I gave an initial lecture like that early on in the year in San Diego, then an updated version at the USC at the DataCon keynote, and then subsequently at another conference online. And I think it resonates well. We get good feedback. It's pitched at the right level, and I'm concerned we're getting maybe too technical later on in the agenda. I want to make it relevant to the audience. So I think but since this is a face-to-face presentation, and we're going to be recording it for purposes, you know, for repurposing later on, I think pitching it at an appropriate level is important.
Ruth, thank you, Riza. Ruth, I want to pass it over to you, and just a quick note as we do. Thank you for sharing that out. We do have 8 folks from the faculty already signed up to attend from College of the Canyons, so appreciate that. And then a quick call to action for everybody there that's out there that is planning on attending in person. Please do go to this website and hit the RSVP button just so we get you on the list and can count you all in the same place. Thank you. Ruth, you had a comment here?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. And Matt, I must apologize to you for my back and forth this week with graphics and so on, but I think we got there in the end. And I got approval from the VPs that needed to approve language and so on. So that invitation went out as a COC all email, and it, as you say, we got some feedback already. People want to attend, but they're asking if they can attend remotely, which of course they can. And I don't know they're asking if there's a Zoom link. I don't know if we need to use the COC Zoom link or quite how that will be done. So that's my project for the coming week. I have questions. I see my name is there on the policy track panel. Do we need more panelists? Because I've got faculty colleagues who from philosophy and political science and so on. But I don't know if we need any more panelists or if we need a moderator or if Gil's going to be the moderator. And I would like a preview of the questions so I can prep those for myself. That's about it, I think.
Absolutely. On the panel piece, I personally would love to see a member of the faculty on each one. That would be kind of a neat perspective, I think, that we can bring in, and the idea of democratizing. So that's just my thought. Sorry, Mike, you had your hand up there too. Didn't mean to jump right in.
A couple quick thoughts. One, more work for you, Reza. But question is, might it be broader if we were able to talk about how AI will transform your life, not just your career? Because I think a lot of what we're talking about with the personal co-pilots and personal AI is broader than just a career perspective. But I realize if you already have a canned presentation, it's more work.
No, I guess I can broaden it, but I'm going to push it back on you. Send me some notes and your thoughts on
Okay.
Okay, I'm broadening.
Yeah,
okay.
I can do that. The second thing is, when you talk about faculty and students being invited, have we also distributed the flyer or made contact with any of the other LA-based universities where this might be of interest to them, like USC, UCLA?
Yeah. Well, I had a good call with the guy that runs the incubator, the AI incubator at USC. I invited him to join, to come and participate, and I've not had a response from him yet. So we had a phone call, lasted about an hour. So he was definitely interested in. I'll reach out to him again today to see whether he wants to participate. I was thinking, to lower the barrier to entry and not have him stress about having to prepare for it, to maybe change one of these sessions to a fireside chat format, and then he can come along. I'm still looking for a heavy hitter. Mike, you might have to step up and take the session keynote. I don't know, but if we've got any other participants who, especially in the tools track, I think the tools track is a bit weak at the moment. We need to strengthen up the participation there.
Yeah, I actually, in looking at this, most of what I was going to talk about is probably a combination of those two, keynote and the technical exploration.
Yeah.
So I already have some stuff for another purpose that would be good for the keynote. So yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Okay. And then what we need is we need moderators. Moderators that are capable. Eunice, you switched your video on just in time there. I was looking for your participation in one of these slots.
Yeah, and I shared, I think with Matt, if I remember, I had one candidate for the tools part. Now I have two. I'm just awaiting confirmation. I should have it by end of day tomorrow. They're trying to change their life schedule to make it to the summit. And if they do, at least one of them can present.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, let's, so we need to build out that panel. 4 people is a good number. Ian McFarlane just joined. Is he coming down? Ian, are you coming down to LA?
Yes, I'm planning to.
Okay, we'd like to include you in the tools track, and I'm not too sure to what extent you've been involved with Colin in the latest developments. Maybe you can talk about it there.
Yeah, I'm not completely up to speed. I've been doing other things, but I'll catch up with him.
Toby, are you going to be in the house?
I am. I am planning to try to come down. I am.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm actually at the summit still. I'm just, I'm committed, so I'm here as well.
Very good. Okay. Well, message us separately and tell us where on the agenda you'd like to participate. Okay. Who are the other key people we'd like to? Brittany, I think you said you'd like to participate. Speak up now, because this is the time to speak up. We need to get this populated.
Yeah, I'd love to be a part of the talk on tools and what we could do now to start
Fantastic.
building something.
So Brittany's in the house. Okay.
Panel there, Brittany, as well. Are you okay with that?
What'd you say, Matt?
Are you okay sitting on a panel? It would be great to have your voice on a panel.
Sure, I'd love that. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is Colin, are you going to be available or participating at the?
No, he's going to be in Africa.
Oh, so I think a tightened up version of what he presented today might be good in the technical exploration.
I was thinking of 5-minute videos that we could play between the changeovers.
Okay.
So if what was presented, you could edit down to that size, that would be great. And similarly, Sean, I know you can't attend, but I know there's a massive material that you would want to. There's massive stuff that you want to say, and it'd be great to have a little 5-minute video from GUI.ai on the subject of your work that we can present. Did we get that, Sean?
And Abdul Rahman also has one that he'll be working on for us on synthetic data.
Fantastic. Okay. So we're going to accept remote. Yeah, they're not going to be remote live, but send in videos, and during the break buffers, we will present those. And then later on, when we're editing the whole session, I guess it'll be in a playlist of the sessions for the entire summit. Okay. The AI fundamentals track, I think people are going to yawn, and I think we're missing the audience. So I'm going to tone down my talk. Maybe the last slide will talk about the sort of fundamental research into the neural fabric of AI for the future to make it more causal. I think what's needed there is actually a primer on basically what is AI, what is a neural network, what is a large language model, and maybe it gives the students, now knowing this is a community college, and so I've got to pitch it at the right level. So I've been rethinking that. So I'll change up the title, and but I'll end at the same place. Okay, Kai, you put your hand up.
I think that's a great idea. A lot of the requests already in the RSVP are, I want to learn more about AI, just learn more about AI, understanding more.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Kai, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not agree with you, Reza, because I think all the other track talk about AI today, AI tomorrow, but your topics is a good place. I mean, when you are young in the college, if you don't think about the next wave, where should you talk? So I would not bring it down. It's not like all the topics are at this level, but yeah,
Thank you. Okay, Kai, I always rely on you for the contrary opinion, and I respect that. Okay, thank you. Okay, so numbers. We just need to know who's attending. So, fill in the RSVP.
Real quick, you also had brought up streaming, and what are the options there? I think Joey was actually going to be.
Yeah, and I texted him. He's in Indiana today working, but he says it's going to be a LinkedIn live presentation. He'll set it up during the week, and then we'll be able to add. You can publicize the link in advance of it. It turns out that I think Kwaai, the Kwaai LinkedIn page is eligible to stream video. That's the thing we need to test, because you have to have over, I think, 150 users, followers, in order to be eligible for the live stream. So maybe over this weekend, Matt, you and I just test that out. The other options are College of the Canyons using their Zoom link and streaming it from there. I'd rather not do it over Google.
Like we could YouTube, do it on our YouTube channel pretty easily as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Does YouTube for our level of following, if can we do YouTube live?
Yeah, there's no restrictions there. You should be able to do it.
Let's check that this weekend. Okay. Okay.
Great. So kind of final word then, I think, on the agenda. We need to button this up a bit. Sounds like still some TBD on the tools conversation. Eunice, you might have some folks involved. Brittany, interested in being involved. Mike, you've got a larger talk, a superset of the self-sovereign ID component that I think is really useful for this as well. Let's keep the conversation going in the Kwaai Summit Slack channel, please. That's where a lot of this is being had. Sorry, I'm a little bit slower on the email piece and a little bit noisy on the Slack side, so hit me there. Great. Just in terms of any additional, and anybody that is speaking, anybody that's got their name on that list, please send me your, headshot, or I'll pull your LinkedIn. Please send me any speaker bio that you would like to have up there. I'm going to start pulling that together, and we'll send that over to be included on the website as well. Other promotional material, you'll start to see some stuff being shared from the Kwaai LinkedIn page in the Kwaai Summit channel. We'll share some promotional material as well. If you want a post in the LinkedIn format, a LinkedIn cover banner, whatever it is, there'll be some stuff to post there. But please do just help us share, help us get some eyeballs to the summit coming up. As Riza mentioned, there'll be some opportunities for folks not able to attend in person to tune in all the same.
Now I'm going to make it a bit more specific. I think everyone on the call needs to recruit 5 people to attend the summit.
So for that, Reza, do we have enough room at the college to?
We've got the theater will take 60 to 80 individuals. 5 is a lot. I think you need to reach out to 5, and you'll probably land 1 or 2.
Well, I'm bringing 4 from Arcus, maybe 5. So
excellent. There'll be enough room, and if there isn't, we'll. It's a weekend at the college, so there's space.
And please do put them on the list and that RSVP, fill out the Google form. That'll be super, super helpful. We're also trying to track kind of what interest from the community there is in which sessions, folks are just interested in saying for the general keynote or through everything. So please include some feedback there.
Yeah. And bear in mind, it's a public campus, and College of the Canyons is putting this flyer out to the local public. So often when we've had, and I've lectured there a couple of times, people come in off the streets, they've heard about it, it's the local library or whatever, and they come in. So we'll get a mixed bag of audience, but we're also capturing the material. Obviously, we're going to be streaming it, but there'll be roving camera operators that'll be capturing it, maybe giving ad hoc interviews. All of that becomes collateral material for further publicity. Okay.
Wonderful.
I have one small question, Reza, which is for those of us planning to crash your after party. I know you probably don't want to reveal the address, but is there a general area that we should be thinking about where it might be?
Sure, it's close to the college. It's 5 minutes from the college.
Okay, and that's the Santa Clarita area. Is that where that is?
Yeah, it is. Which is about 25, 30 minutes north of Burbank Airport.
Gotcha. Okay.
Awesome. Running a little bit long today, but we've got a lot of familiar faces on the call. Is there anybody that hasn't introduced themselves? Kartikeyan Vijayan. I know that you attended last week, didn't have a chance to introduce yourself. Would you like to say some words?
Yeah, sure. I'm Kartikeyan Vijayan, and I'm currently building a startup called Easy LLM. It's like a no-code LLM platform for fine-tuning large language models. So we are basically a tool for fine-tuning LLMs and evaluating them. So it's built around LLMs. So that's basically me.
Well, we'd like your input on the code repository, and maybe look at the backlog, see if there's anything you want to participate in. Reach out, Colin.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. Thanks.
Wonderful, thank you. Anybody else would like to introduce yourself today? Give an opportunity for anyone that hasn't before. Okay, open floor here for anyone. Jump on in.
I do have a quick question about the bylaws. Are they available online to take a look at the draft?
Yeah.
I will share that with you, Eunice, during the week.
All right, thank you.
Quiet bunch today. Quiet.
That's right.
I'm at an event, so I'm being quiet only because of that. Just so everybody knows. Right? Usually I would not be this quiet.
Great. I don't see the name list. Oh, there it is. There's the name list. Okay, I'm going to call on some people.
Yeah, Brittany, jump on in. Come on.
All right. I'll mention something. I just wanted to say 2 weeks ago, I went to an energy fair in the middle of Colorado, and I saw a lot of similarities there with what we were talking about here, and I just wanted to mention that it was a bunch of people that maybe don't sit in these kind of communities, but they're trying to do off-grid life and nomad life. But I was very surprised to see and hear that they want to use digital tools to help them do that. And I just thought I saw a connection between what Mike's saying about digital sovereignty and what they were advocating for self-sovereignty, and that they are willing to use tools, digital tools like the ones we're discussing, to be self-sovereign. So I just wanted to mention that, and that there are communities out there that maybe don't sit on LinkedIn and want to do the, automated LinkedIn stuff, but they are looking for ways to integrate AI into their lives. Just a thought.
That's great. Thanks, Brittany.
Yeah, Kyle.
Kai, your hands up.
Yeah, two things. One very simple. I'm going to speak at the BioInvestor Forum in October, and I saw Meta Group, and I noticed several times, but my memory, I don't remember. So if you guys, or if he's there, so contact me to see if we can meet over there. But beside that, so just need the name of the person. Beside that, we talk a lot about sovereignty, policy, and so on. And I think the danger is people want to say, but who defined that? And why not giving tools for each person to define its own policy, its own rules, right? This we don't have in real life. In real life, we have to follow the country, the society where we are, and so on. Maybe this is an opportunity for us to define when we talk about, individual sovereignty. Well, let's do it really, and not putting too much framework around, define it by a group very well intended people to define another constraint of individual.
Right. Okay, point taken. A few more voices. Selena, you've been really helpful. Can we hear from you?
Hi. Yeah, I've just been trying to support Matt and offer whatever help and tools and kind of bounce ideas off of each other.
Fantastic. Okay.
Selena's been looking at a few tools to help us get a little more organized, track the projects a little better. Any thoughts on that, Selena, that you wanted to share?
Really mainly just what we talked about. We really need to identify what our needs are and kind of define the roles. I know one of the things that we talked about was, we'll come up with the nonprofit, right, who really needs to be informed about things that are happening, and the calendar that you created that'll help with some of the kind of confusion on meetings and stuff, but how else can we get out the information to them is going to be key as well.
Excellent. Yep. And Afshin, you on that note, you would also set up the gaggle list as well.
Yeah, so I'm sure people got the email. If you didn't, check your spam. So it's the gaggle listserv. So that's a resource I use for other groups I lead, or I use Group.io too for another one. Actually, when you become a nonprofit, I would suggest we approach Group.io. Group.io has a nice email listserv and a very easy manageable calendar within that to use. But that's I know everyone doesn't check Slack. I don't check Slack sometimes, so I miss things if it's very urgent. But email, it's always there on my phone. And same as Slack, but email sometimes. I make maybe old-fashioned to check email more than Slack. But I think you should do both. For the things that are important, I put things on Slack and email, and that's what I would suggest.
Okay.
Eunice.
Please don't hate me for saying this. Maybe this is the time to start planning for a CRM that can organize all our data and communication. I understand it's an organizational aspect, but it's going to put some order into the way we operate, because I'm suffering from the same problem. Am I missing anything? So the fear of missing out is increasing as the number of Slack messages increases.
Yeah.
Plus, I was warned that I might be tampering with data. Was not intentional, Matt. I registered twice to show you. I registered to Kwaai. I'm so committed, and now I have 2 entries on a spreadsheet.
We have some very sensitive free TL Google Sheets in there with some daisy chains of data thus far. I am 100% with you on CRM. So, and
it's a discussion for later. But being a nonprofit gives us 10 licenses from Salesforce. Not a very popular CRM with the community, but very effective.
Yeah, I think I'm becoming a Salesforce champion. And not only because they wined and dined me in Santa Monica for my day job, but I'm starting to see the value of mature CRM systems like that, where it allows you to focus on what is your real value add, and
Yes.
not all the plumbing and piping around your business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I spent decades in that ecosystem, so we can talk more data.
Selena, something else?
Yeah, I was just going to say about the CRM is our data in the CRM is going to only be as good as the input that people are putting. So that's just one thing to think about, because I've come from organizations who use Salesforce and other ones, but trash in is trash out. So that's the only thing to kind of keep in mind when we are coming across these things. And Salesforce is a great tool. It's very expensive when you have a larger organization. But if we're not utilizing it properly or enforcing kind of like the data that we need and setting policies, it won't help us much. So that's all I'll add about that.
Totally agree. Let's start with a clean customer data lake. Mike.
Oh yeah, just a tactical question. Did we get some kind of calendaring solution integrated into Slack or something? The issue with the email is that we don't, like when we put a call out for, hey, we're going to have a meeting, we don't know who's going to attend, so we can't send emails.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but you can send emails as a calendar invite and people can accept. Then you know who actually accepted and who ignored your email.
You mean
That's what I
send
use when I do it.
We hey,
send the
you
entire
guys a
group?
suggestion.
Like,
We use Loom.
Yeah. I mean, well, for that,
Loom,
well,
it's
sorry,
free.
for the emails, like you can make a certain Gaggle email listserv for each group, you know, and that's what I've done for other groups. And then so you have people register for that. Or if you want to send a blanket one to the entire group for a general meeting, I mean, I would do that. But it's up to everyone here. But for me, Slack meeting invites, I always miss them because if it's not on my calendar, it's gone, you know.
Yeah, and what I've set up, and I don't have it quick up here to share, but what I've set up is just a Kwaai public meetings calendar, and Darren Shepard helped get that publicly shareable. So we can share that out from the listserv. We definitely want to do a Kwaai Summit follow-up announcement, you know, on the listserv as well. You know, let's activate that as a communication channel to push some of this out. But it's only Riza, Afshin, and I that can add events to that public shareable meeting calendar. So if anybody would like to throw a Kwaai public meeting out to the group, please do let us know. We'll get it on that calendar, and then we can also do a blast, you know, LinkedIn, on email, on Slack, wherever else. But hopefully it'll just be one then central calendar we can also put up on the website. And folks can just see what's going on, and they will not be able to see guest lists publicly. So it's only if you subscribe, and only, you know, if you're the organizer that you'll be able to see that.
And that's been working great for me, Matt. So that, yeah, sorry, Mike.
Oh, I was just gonna say, so just so I understand, so Matt, there's a couple admins to the calendar. So like we wanted to add a meeting, we would just tag you on Slack in the meetings channel and said, hey, we want to throw this meeting, time, date, here's the Zoom link or whatever. And then you'll publish it.
Yep, we'll get it on that public calendar, and then anybody can either subscribe to it in Google Calendar or just go to the public link and see everything that's going on.
Got it.
Okay. Just briefly, and
this came up in time here. Rita, if you want to officially wrap us up here.
Yeah, Matt. Sorry, Toby mentioned something in the thing. I think he was trying to mention anything. Do we want to give him 2 seconds to mention something in chat?
Yeah, Lou.ma, he said. I think that's all he said. So there we go. Before we wrap, Matt, we should probably get an event blasted out on LinkedIn, on our LinkedIn page. So maybe that's just the flyer. And we should look at boosting it as well, specifically for the LA region. So maybe offline, you and I talk about that. What a fantastic, I'm going to wrap up here. What a fantastic Kwaai Day. Happy Kwaai Day to all of you. We're going to meet in person, some of us at least, next week. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be our first summit, and we'll do this quarterly. Maybe we'll find a different host. Maybe it's down in San Diego. Maybe it's across the border in Mexico. Maybe San Francisco. Maybe Seattle. I don't know. Las Vegas, baby. Yeah, around CES. So let's think about that and have some ideas. But look, let's first have a successful first Kwaai Summit. Looking forward to it. Thanks so much for all of your energy. Thanks so much for the creativity and the logos. And I'm calling it a wrap here. You can log out if you want. You can exit. But this is what a volunteer organization is all about. This is different to a .com, a young startup that is on VC-funded steroids. This is very different. And maybe this answers what Masu was talking about. I understand. I've been through the startup cycle many times. The startup cycle that is funded by VC millions, now billions, is not necessarily a recipe for success. Yes, you're going to get a few people at the top being wealthy, That's not what we're aiming for here. Wealth will come, but you don't go and looking for it straight away. I think what we have here is a group of self-selected people who are smart and they care, and they are high functioning individuals. This is not a corporation where there's in the old days a cube farm, but now we're distributed, where people can hide in there, take a paycheck, and just hide away in an organization and not be productive. No, in a volunteer organization, that'll be exposed really quickly. It's a different way of dealing with your peers and with your colleagues in a volunteer organization. We're doing this because, and we're giving up our time. We've got day jobs, we're really busy. But giving our time because we care about a cause. And this is not a relationship of hierarchy where I'm controlling your pay packet. I'm not. This is a family of mutual respect. There are AI rock stars on here. There are people that are fantastic organizers. There are rabble rousers, Toby among them. There are people that have built up over their career a membership, a following, a list of trusted individuals, and they're bringing them to this movement. I want to thank you all. I look forward to this day. It's the highlight of my week, and it's the time that it's my happy place. So I look forward to it. Gosh, I'm now random. We get all tearful. I'm gonna. I can see Toby's cringing now. Okay, look, time to say goodbye, and look forward to seeing you all face to face. Thanks.
Have a good day. Bye.
Thanks all.
Everybody have a
Guys.
great weekend. See you next week. I'll be in the Slack group.